What if everything you've been taught about the origin of humanity is a carefully disguised lie? What if the greatest secrets of our history are hidden in ancient myths and distorted accounts, muffled by the current of time? Imagine discovering that the most well-known stories, like Noah's flood, may conceal a much darker and more mysterious truth than we ever imagined. In the next few minutes, you will be led through an investigation that challenges the official narrative, unveiling a theory that puts everything you believe about humanity's past into question. Get ready to uncover long-guarded mysteries and theories that could forever change the way we view our own history. What you are about to discover wasn't meant to be revealed, and many would do anything to keep it secret. Noah's Ark, present in biblical stories, is considered by many to be nothing more than a myth. However, unexpected evidence has begun to surface, suggesting that its history is much older and darker than traditional narratives allow. Ancient files, forgotten accounts, and documents that challenge the official understanding reveal that the fate of the Ark may be more connected to hidden phenomena than just a natural disaster. What really happened during the Great Flood? And what was the true role of the Ark in the context of lost civilizations, such as Atlantis? Accounts from various cultures around the world suddenly reveal alarming coincidences. Ancient Egyptian and Mesopotamian texts speak of great floods and a vessel that survived a global cataclysm, but their descriptions don't match the Judeo-Christian myth. In 1949, secret military documents from the CIA, recently declassified, referenced the search for a lost artifact seemingly connected to Noah's Arkansas. Could these clues be just a metaphor? Or is there something much greater being concealed? The mystery deepens as new evidence begins to surface, pointing to a complex story that may never have been told before. What is really hidden behind the legend of Noah's Ark? Why have so many governments, throughout the centuries, seemingly tried to conceal the truth about its existence and the impact it may have had on the formation of humanity? Secret records and classified documents raise a crucial question. Was Noah's Ark merely a religious symbol, or does it hide something much deeper, something that could change our understanding of the origins of life on Earth? Is there a conspiracy surrounding this ancient secret, and the answers may be far more terrifying than we ever imagined? In the late 18th century, a Scottish explorer named James Bruce embarked on an expedition that would become one of the most mysterious in history. His mission, seemingly simple, was to find the sources of rivers in Africa. However, what Bruce truly discovered during his travels would have much greater repercussions than he could ever have imagined. Among ancient treasures and exotic artifacts, Bruce claimed to have found a version of the Book of Enoch, a lost, obscure text that had been ignored for centuries. Why was this book lost, and what did it truly reveal about the origin of humanity? The Book of Enoch is a work that does not appear in most versions of the Bible. Written by Enoch, one of the most enigmatic figures in the Old Testament, the book describes events that transcend the known limits of religion. It speaks of fallen angels, giants who once walked the earth, and even celestial journeys that seem impossible. But what James Bruce found was not just an ancient book, it was a record that could rewrite human history and shed light on figures and events long concealed. The question is, why has such a powerful text been kept out of the public eye for so long? What Bruce brought back was a version of the Book of Enoch that dates back centuries before our era, but the mysteries surrounding its discovery have never been fully explained. Recently declassified documents indicate that agents from the Vatican, the CIA, and other secret organizations were involved in efforts to discredit and suppress these revelations. What do these governments and organizations have to hide? Why has the Book of Enoch, with its shocking accounts, remained a taboo for most religions and historians? The truth about what Bruce found is far more complex and dangerous than we ever imagined. Within the ancient pages of the Book of Enoch, we find descriptions that challenge not only human logic but also the official doctrines of major religions. Enoch recounts encounters with translucent beings of light, bearers of knowledge so advanced that their technologies would appear indistinguishable from magic to primitive humanity. There are reports of flying machines, dimensional portals, and colossal structures that seemed to touch the skies. Were these merely religious metaphors, or testimony of something far more unsettling? The text describes, in vivid detail, a heaven that is not ethereal, but physical and habitable. Floating cities, trails of fire across the sky, and vehicles that traverse dimensions are mentioned as part of these beings' everyday existence. Some researchers point out that these descriptions are eerily similar to modern concepts of spacecraft and orbital stations. How could a text written thousands of years ago depict images so strikingly close to technologies we are only beginning to understand today? What did Enoch truly witness? Moreover, the Book of Enoch reveals the existence of the Watchers, entities assigned to oversee Earth, who eventually rebelled and taught forbidden secrets to humanity. Knowledge of astronomy, metallurgy, medicine, and warfare was passed down, forever altering the course of human history. The canonical Bible only hints at these events in veiled terms, but Enoch exposes them in disturbing detail. Are we, then, facing a suppressed account meant to protect a truth that could shake the foundations of both faith and science? For centuries, stories of celestial beings descending to Earth have echoed throughout the world's mythologies, from the Watchers of the Book of Enoch to the ancient gods of Mesopotamian and Greek mythology. But the question remains, were these beings truly divine, or were they something far more sinister? The Watchers, described as angels in some texts and fallen gods in others, are said to have descended to Earth and shared forbidden knowledge with humanity. They taught men the secrets of the heavens, including astronomy, metallurgy, and even the art of enchantment. But was this wisdom a blessing or a curse? Some believe the Watchers were not angels at all, but extraterrestrials, beings from another world, influencing humanity's development in ways that have long been hidden from us. In the ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki, often depicted as gods, share striking similarities with modern descriptions of extraterrestrial beings. These gods, it is said, descended to Earth to shape the course of civilization, guiding the early humans and giving them the tools to build advanced societies. These beings, some argue, may have come from a distant planet or star system, and their appearance and powers were so beyond the comprehension of early humans that they were revered as gods. The evidence seems to suggest a terrifying possibility. Humanity's first contact with intelligent life did not come from a peaceful exchange, but rather from beings with a hidden agenda, beings who may have manipulated our ancestors for their own purposes. Could this ancient encounter have been the true origin of the fallen angels myth? When we look at the descriptions of these beings, whether in biblical texts or ancient records, one thing becomes clear: the stories share remarkable similarities to modern alien abduction accounts. The Watchers, like extraterrestrial entities in today's reports, are described as otherworldly, with technology that far surpassed anything known at the time. They interacted with humans in strange and sometimes frightening ways, taking human women as their partners and creating hybrid offspring. This pattern, the merging of celestial or extraterrestrial beings with human DNA, appears in countless myths and in modern UFO lore. But if these beings were not angels, and were instead extraterrestrials, then the implications for human history could be far darker than we ever imagined. Could we be the product of an alien intervention that altered our very genetic makeup? Throughout ancient texts, there are repeated references to cities in the sky, vehicles that appear to travel through the heavens, and divine chariots that descend to Earth. The Book of Enoch describes fiery chariots that carry celestial beings, and the visions of Ezekiel in the Bible depict a divine vehicle descending from the heavens, filled with strange lights and angelic figures. But what if these were not just metaphors or visions, but actual spacecraft capable of interstellar travel? Could it be that ancient civilizations were not only in contact with divine beings, but also with extraterrestrial entities who arrived in ships that resembled the very chariots and vehicles described in religious texts? One of the most intriguing aspects of ancient texts is the consistent description of these celestial vehicles, which are often described as emitting fiery light or carrying divine energy. These descriptions bear an eerie resemblance to modern accounts of UFO sightings. From the biblical chariot of fire to the ancient Indian Vedic texts describing flying machines known as vimanas, the similarities are impossible to ignore. Could these ancient records be describing advanced technology that humans were simply not capable of understanding at the time? And if so, what does this mean for our understanding of human history and the possibility of extraterrestrial contact? The theory of the city in the stars suggests that these vehicles were not just individual crafts, but part of a much larger structure, a cosmic city or advanced civilization that once existed in the heavens, influencing life on Earth. Some researchers argue that the ancient references to heavenly cities might be more than just symbolic. What if, instead of spiritual realms or divine thrones, these descriptions are actually referring to a highly advanced alien city hidden from view in the far reaches of space? As we continue to uncover new evidence of strange, unexplained phenomena in the skies, from mysterious lights to the discovery of potentially habitable exoplanets, the possibility of ancient extraterrestrial cities becomes even more tantalizing. Could our ancestors have been in contact with beings from these cities? And if so, what knowledge did they leave behind? For decades, the CIA has been involved in research and documentation of phenomena that remain classified and hidden from the public eye. One of the most intriguing aspects of the agency's secrecy is its involvement with historical artifacts and ancient discoveries, particularly those relating to the Ark of the Covenant and the biblical accounts of Noah. In declassified documents, there are strange references to archaeological anomalies that don't fit with traditional historical narratives. Could the CIA be covering up the true nature of these ancient relics? And if so, what would the implications be for humanity's understanding of its own origins? A shocking revelation came in the 1970s when documents were leaked that referenced a highly classified project known as Operation Arkansas. According to these documents, the CIA had been monitoring several archaeological sites around Mount Ararat, searching for evidence of a massive, ancient structure that some believed was the remains of Noah's Arkansas. The documents, now accessible under the Freedom of Information Act, describe the discovery of strange artifacts and structures buried beneath the ice and rock of the region. However, despite the undeniable evidence of something extraordinary, these findings were quickly suppressed. Why was this information kept from the public? And what could the CIA have been trying to protect by keeping the truth about the Ark hidden? The CIA's involvement in ancient artifacts extends beyond just the Arkansas leaked intelligence reports suggest that the agency has been tracking the discovery of unusual materials at sites like the Dead Sea Scrolls and ancient Egyptian tombs. These materials, some claim, contain information about extraterrestrial technology or even evidence of human-alien contact. If these reports are true, it raises the unsettling question: what does the government know that it's not telling us? Could these ancient relics hold the key to understanding the true origins of humanity? And if extraterrestrial intelligence is involved, why are these discoveries being hidden away from the public, buried under layers of secrecy and bureaucracy? The story of Noah and the Great Flood is one of the most well-known and enduring myths in human history. According to the Bible, Noah was chosen by God to build an ark and save humanity from a global deluge. But what if there's more to the story than we've been told? Some believe that Noah's true origins were not divine, but rather far more mysterious. The Book of Enoch presents a striking theory. Noah was the son of the Watchers, the fallen angels who descended to earth and corrupted humanity with forbidden knowledge. This would mean that Noah, the man who survived the flood, was not simply a righteous figure, but the result of an ancient and perhaps otherworldly union. According to the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, a group of celestial beings who descended to Earth, were responsible for teaching humans dangerous secrets, including the arts of sorcery and forbidden knowledge. They also took human women as their wives and fathered a race of giants, known as the Nephilim. But Noah's story takes a darker turn when the text suggests that he was born as a result of one of these unions. If Noah was the son of one of these fallen angels, his birth would not only mark him as a hybrid of celestial and human blood, but would also place him at the center of a cosmic struggle. Was Noah's survival of the flood the result of divine intervention, or was it the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy tied to his true parentage? The implications of this theory are vast. If Noah was indeed the son of a watcher, then the very nature of the flood, a cataclysmic event meant to cleanse the earth of corruption, could have been a response to the actions of the Watchers themselves. This would cast a shadow over the biblical account, suggesting that Noah was not the innocent, righteous figure we've come to know, but rather someone born of a forbidden lineage. What's more, the idea that Noah was part of a larger cosmic struggle involving the Watchers and their offspring suggests that the true purpose of the flood was not just to cleanse the world, but to destroy the remnants of an ancient, hybrid bloodline. Could this be the true story of Noah, a figure whose legacy is far more complicated than we've ever imagined? The story of the Great Flood is found in numerous ancient cultures around the world, from the Bible to the Epic of Gilgamesh and beyond. While many have explained the flood as a natural disaster, a series of catastrophic events, or a symbolic tale, there are others who suggest that the flood may have been something far more extraordinary, an extraterrestrial intervention. Could the deluge that wiped out civilization have been caused by forces far beyond our understanding? Some researchers believe that the flood was not simply a natural event, but rather the result of a deliberate action by extraterrestrial beings, who may have been controlling the weather, the oceans, or even the very fate of humanity. One of the key pieces of evidence supporting this theory comes from the idea that ancient texts describe unusual celestial events leading up to the flood. In the Book of Enoch, for example, the Watchers, those celestial beings who descended to Earth, are said to have caused massive disruptions in the natural order, manipulating the elements and even influencing the course of human history. Could it be that these beings were somehow responsible for triggering the flood? And if so, what could their motive have been? Did they see the human race as a threat, or was the flood a necessary step in an ancient plan to cleanse the earth of corruption? These questions have been at the center of many conspiracy theories, and the possibility that extraterrestrials were involved in such a cataclysmic event continues to be explored by those who challenge traditional historical narratives. In addition, there are theories that suggest the flood could have been triggered by a cosmic event, such as the collision of Earth with a comet or asteroid. Some researchers have speculated that such an impact could have caused massive flooding by disrupting the Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and weather patterns. However, this theory raises a chilling question. What if this event was not an accident, but rather a carefully orchestrated intervention by extraterrestrial forces? Could these beings have used advanced technology to manipulate celestial bodies, causing the flood as part of a larger plan to shape the future of Earth and its inhabitants? The possibility that the flood was not just a random natural disaster, but the result of extraterrestrial intervention raises more questions than answers, and may just be the key to unlocking a much larger mystery. For centuries, explorers, archaeologists, and adventurers have set out to find the remains of Noah's Ark, with many believing that the legendary vessel came to rest on the slopes of Mount Ararat in modern-day Turkey. The mountain, towering over the surrounding landscape, has been the focal point of countless expeditions seeking the Ark's final resting place. But what if the truth about the Ark's location is far more elusive than anyone could have imagined? Some believe that the Ark's remains are hidden deep within the rugged terrain of Mount Ararat, concealed not just by time, but by deliberate forces seeking to keep its discovery secret. Could it be that there are ancient powers at work, preventing us from uncovering the Ark's remains? In the 1940s, a series of photographs taken by the United States Air Force sparked renewed interest in the possibility of the Ark's location on Mount Ararat. These aerial images, which purportedly show a large, ship-like structure on the mountain slopes, have fueled speculations that the Ark is indeed buried beneath layers of snow and rock. However, access to the mountain is restricted by the Turkish government, and expeditions have often been thwarted by political tensions, harsh weather conditions, and even rumors of cover-ups. Some conspiracy theorists argue that the Ark's remains are being deliberately hidden to prevent the world from discovering the truth about humanity's origins. What could be so important about the Ark that powerful forces would go to such lengths to keep it out of sight? The mystery of the Ark on Mount Ararat deepens further when one considers the possibility that the Ark is not merely a relic of a biblical flood, but a vessel containing something far more significant. Some theorists believe that the Ark may hold ancient knowledge, advanced technologies, or even extraterrestrial artifacts, remnants of a forgotten past that could change the course of human history. If the Ark does indeed rest somewhere on Mount Ararat, then its discovery could unlock a treasure trove of secrets, revealing the true nature of the flood, the Watchers, and perhaps even the role of extraterrestrials in shaping our planet's history. But is this just another wild theory, or is there a deeper truth being kept from us, hidden in the icy reaches of Mount Ararat? In 1959, a controversial discovery was made near the small town of Durupınar, Turkey, that would stir the curiosity of researchers and believers alike. Located just south of Mount Ararat, the Durupınar site presents an intriguing structure that some claim to be the remains of Noah's Ark. The structure, which measures approximately 150 meters in length, is remarkably similar in shape to the descriptions of the Ark found in biblical texts. However, the discovery has sparked intense debate. While some argue that it's a natural rock formation, others insist that the structure is man-made and represents the resting place of the legendary vessel. Could this be the true location of the Ark, or is it just another false lead in the pursuit of an ancient mystery? The Durupınar site has garnered attention not only for its shape but also for the surrounding anomalies that suggest the presence of something much more significant. Excavations at the site have uncovered strange artifacts, including broken pottery, ancient tools, and remnants of structures that seem to predate recorded history. While no definitive evidence has been found to confirm the site's connection to Noah's Ark, some researchers believe that the Ark's remains could lie buried beneath layers of earth and rock. However, the Turkish government has prohibited extensive excavations in the area, citing the preservation of the site's natural environment. Could this prohibition be a deliberate attempt to suppress the discovery of something far more profound? What could the Ark's connection to the Durupınar site reveal about humanity's past, and what truths are being hidden from the world? The mystery of the Durupınar site grows even more puzzling when we consider the possibility that the Ark is not just a relic of ancient religious tradition but a physical manifestation of a much older, more complex narrative. Some conspiracy theorists speculate that the Ark's true nature is not that of a wooden ship but rather an advanced, technologically sophisticated vehicle that carried knowledge, artifacts, or even extraterrestrial beings. The Durupınar site, with its strange artifacts and unexplained features, could be a key to unlocking this hidden history. But why has the site remained so enigmatic, with so many unanswered questions and so few answers from mainstream archaeology? Perhaps the truth about the Ark's true location and its connection to Durupınar is far more unsettling than we realize. The flood story, as described in the Bible, is one of the most well-known accounts of a catastrophic event in human history. However, what if the story of Noah's Ark and the global flood is not just a single religious myth but a shared memory embedded in the cultures of the world? Over 250 different cultures across the globe have their own versions of a great flood, many of which share striking similarities to the biblical narrative. From ancient Mesopotamia's Epic of Gilgamesh to the flood myths of indigenous peoples in the Americas, Australia, and Africa, the motif of a divine or catastrophic flood wiping out humanity appears time and time again. Could this be more than mere coincidence? And if so, what does it reveal about the nature of this event? Anthropologists and historians have long debated whether these flood myths are simply local interpretations of a common, natural disaster or if they are remnants of a single, cataclysmic event that affected the entire human race. Some theorists believe that these widespread stories point to a real, global flood that took place thousands of years ago. These theories often cite evidence from ancient texts, geological records, and oral traditions that suggest a flood event of such magnitude that it could have been experienced by cultures around the world. Could this be the remnants of a shared historical memory, passed down through generations and altered over time by the cultures who told the story? Or is it possible that a catastrophic event so devastating was somehow woven into the fabric of human history, becoming a central theme in myths across the world? The flood myths also raise the question of what caused such a disaster. Was it a natural catastrophe, such as the melting of glaciers or a massive sea level rise, or was there something more to it? Some researchers speculate that the global flood could have been a result of extraterrestrial involvement or even the intervention of the Watchers, as described in the Book of Enoch. The similarities between the global flood myths and the accounts of the Watchers descending to Earth, as well as the strange, otherworldly technologies associated with them, have led some to propose that the flood was a controlled event, perhaps a cleansing or resetting of humanity orchestrated by beings from beyond our world. Could the flood be part of a much larger and more mysterious plan, one that remains hidden beneath layers of myth, legend, and suppression? The story of Noah and the flood has always been viewed through the lens of religious and mythological narratives. However, what if this ancient tale holds a much darker, more enigmatic truth, one that challenges our understanding of human origins? Some researchers have speculated that Noah, far from being just a righteous man chosen by God, could be part of a much larger and more complex mystery surrounding the creation of humanity. The idea that Noah might have been a hybrid, the product of a genetic intervention by the Watchers or extraterrestrial beings, has gained traction among certain circles of theorists. These theories suggest that Noah's unusual birth, along with his significance in the survival of the human race, could be linked to an ancient alien presence on Earth. But how could this connection be uncovered, and what would it mean for the rest of human history? The concept of Noah as a hybrid being is supported by some interpretations of biblical texts and ancient records, which describe his birth as different from that of ordinary men. The Book of Enoch, in particular, provides a detailed account of the Watchers' descent to Earth and their interactions with human women. These angels, or extraterrestrial entities, are said to have sired children with human women, producing a race of giants known as the Nephilim. Could Noah, with his extraordinary role in the survival of mankind, be one of these hybrid descendants? Some theorists believe that the flood was not only a divine punishment but also an attempt to cleanse the earth of these hybrid beings, leaving Noah and his family as the last remnants of humanity's unaltered genetic line. But if Noah was indeed a hybrid, what does that suggest about the true origins of humanity, and how much of our genetic makeup was influenced by beings from another world? The idea of an alien legacy within humanity's DNA takes us into the realm of fringe science and controversial theories, but there are compelling pieces of evidence that support this notion. Genetic anomalies, unexplained abilities, and mysterious symbols found in ancient texts have led some to wonder if humanity's true origins lie in something far beyond our planet. Could extraterrestrials have been involved in shaping our evolution, whether through direct intervention or the manipulation of early human DNA? As our understanding of genetics and ancient history continues to evolve, questions about the involvement of non-human entities in our genetic makeup become even more urgent. What if the true story of Noah's Ark and the flood is not just a religious myth but a hidden chapter in humanity's alien legacy, one that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about our origins? After everything we've revealed, can you still believe that the history we've been told is the only version of the truth? Are we being manipulated by invisible forces, or is there something much greater behind all these accounts? What else remains hidden, waiting to be uncovered? The story of Noah, the flood, and the intervention of beings from another world might be just the beginning of an even deeper and more dangerous truth. And what do you think? Do you believe we've been deceived, or is there something more to unravel in this enigma that spans millennia? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mysteries that, just like this one, need to be revealed. Turn on notifications so you never miss a discovery.